Hey FlossTube, it's Megan, Georgia Girl Stitching, here for a special edition of FlossTube. Now that Ohio's opened up some and the weather's nice and it's a holiday, my parents and the pups have decided to come up to visit for kind of a belated Mother's Day since we didn't get to celebrate weekend of. Thought I'd have a special guest for this video. So this is my mom, Theresa.
Or Megan's mom.
Known to many people.
Stitchy just calls me Megan's mom.
And so we'll kind of go over her story a little bit and some of her whips and finishes, and then kind of go over, and then I'll talk about my mania plans, how those kind of ended up, and then we have some special things towards the end. But before we get started, I want to definitely thank all of my wonderful subscribers out there. Thank you for returning if you have stuck around for a little while, but also thank you so much to the new ones who have decided to come check me out. Hope you enjoy what you see. And to especially thank you, we will actually be having a giveaway at the end, so stay tuned for that. So to get started, Mom, tell them how you kind of got started with stitching and got into this world.
So I taught you to stitch.
Right.
But I got started with stitching. I was a senior in high school, and my older brother was a student at Georgia Tech, and he was dating a girl from who went to Agnes Scott College in Atlanta. And her name was Murph, Mary Frances, but she went by Murph. And I just reconnected with her recently. She lives in Columbus, Ohio. It's after 40 years I reconnected. But Murph was passionate about cross-stitching, and she was really good. And she would give my brother these beautiful cross-stitch gifts. And I asked her to teach me how to cross-stitch. And so she taught me. And in fact, she gave me just an example of her work. She gave me, when I graduated from high school, this really incredible, I loved unicorns. And so she gave me this, just the example how incredible her work was. And it's tiny. It's like, I think that was Hardanger 22, I think was the fabric that she used.
Oh, she had a cute on the back. She even wrote on the back, Dear Theresa, have a happy graduation and best of luck always. 6'5", 81.
Oh, great.
Wow.
Okay, so
Sorry,
yes,
Mom.
it was 81. So
you have a 24-year-old daughter. I think it's clear.
So I learned to stitch, and the very first cross stitch that I did was as a senior in high school, and it was a cross stitch that I did for my dad. So I gave to Dad, and it came from this book. It was, so your first cross stitch was a Pooh Bear.
It's Disney. Yeah, Pooh Bear.
So my first cross stitch 40 years ago was also a Disney cross stitch. But my dad and my dad loved elephants, and he loved Dumbo. And so, and we had this special connection about Dumbo. There's a whole story with Dumbo about the magic feather that he has in his trunk. You know, Dumbo was afraid to fly. And his little mouse friend first got him over his fear of flying and got him up in the air by putting this feather in his trunk and telling him that it was a magic feather. And one day Dumbo was flying and the feather dropped out of his trunk, and then he realized that he could fly without the feather. And so when I left to go to college, I gave Dad this Dumbo, and with this little note about thank you for being my magic feather, and you know, so it was really neat. But
sweet.
So it's really rough, you know. It's not real even stitches and everything.
That's
but
why we put it in a frame and up on the wall. And
so I went to the University of Georgia, and at the University of Georgia, I was in Brumby Hall, which was at the time 1,000 women. It was the all-girls dorm, and we had a whole group of stitchers there. And we all stitched together. We just did a lot of, like you in college. I mean, we did a lot of stitching. It was really neat. Right across the street, right across Baxter Street at the University of Georgia, there was a huge cross-stitch store. So if we ran out of floss, you know, late in the evening, you could just run across the street. I'm
so jealous. I wish I had that. I did not have that at UGA.
Not only was it across the street from the 1,000-woman dorm, but it was within walking distance of all the sorority houses on Millage Avenue. Okay. I'm sure they made a lot of money.
Didn't you say they had all the tons of patterns of all the different letters and logos?
Of all the Greek letters.
All the Greek letters,
And it was a huge store. So I spent a lot of money, did a lot of patterns and cross-stitching. Unfortunately, you can't see them because I gave most of them away to boyfriends, old boyfriends. This is why I always told you never give away your cross stitch until, you're affianced.
Which I didn't follow, but luckily it worked out. So
I think it's safe for you.
I will soon be reconnected with all of those that I've given away. So
played it safe. So, right. So I got back, and actually I cross stitched some when you were little.
Yeah.
But I switched over to quilting. I found quilting, and most of my time and energy and effort went into quilting. I also got to the point where I just couldn't see. Just my eyesight got worse.
I must have been a baby when you were cross stitching because I only remember you quilting. I don't really remember you ever cross stitching.
Yeah, I
so
think I think you were probably little when I did that, and when it just got harder and harder to see. But 2 years ago, we were at Keepsakes.
Discovered this wonderful place.
When we came to visit you, and then we were visiting the Keepsake store,
Yep.
Barbara was helping a customer, and she had clipped onto the frame, she had the magnifier, light, gizmo thing.
It clips onto the Q-snap. It's like the connected.
Yeah, where you got the light that comes down and the little magnifier. And so I'm like, whoa, that could work. And so I bought that, and then I bought a pattern, and then I bought a few more patterns, and went home, and it was wonderful. I was able to sit there, and I was cross stitching again. So I've gotten back into it. Now I'm cross stitching and quilting, and doing both.
Yeah,
So.
that's awesome. So you want to show them one of the things you've done recently?
So finishes.
Yeah, we'll do finishes.
So finishes. We're going to talk about finishes. The first finish for me is, this is really fun. So that pattern, one of those patterns that I bought while we were at Keepsakes is this Silver Creek Samplers. It's called Take It Easy. And this, I just love this beach. So this was my COVID-19 start and finish. And, early in the shutdown in Georgia, I was just having a really hard time with, we had to cancel our London plans. Your dad and I were going to London for our 25th wedding anniversary in the end of March. And everything started shutting down within days of us leaving on that trip. And so,
disappointment.
There was a lot of disappointment. So Dad left for a day, and I was looking around, and I found this pattern, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start this cross stitch. And so I picked it up. I sat there all day long working on it, binge watching Tiger King.
Tiger King, I think, is which is why Dad wasn't around.
But I just finished it. So here's the finish.
You made some changes, right?
So I made some changes to this, and what's funny, so that day that I bought this at Keepsakes, if you remember, I asked you what your wedding colors were, and you ran upstairs and got DMC floss.
DMC versions of my wedding colors.
your DMC went. So they were in the bag with this, and so when I stitched this, it's meant for her dress and the water. Everything is meant to be the same color.
That really light blue.
But what I decided to do, I changed it up, and I decided to use your wedding colors. So the dress and the two colors of the water are actually your blues and your teal in there.
So it was at 3766, 3811.
3811.
And then the dark blue is 311, which is the navy blue. Yeah.
So, and then I also decided for the beach to be in the blue color as well instead of the brown with the other. I just wanted to highlight that. And then the heart at the top is my color, 311, which is, so I used my color for that.
352? 351?
311 is yours, yeah. 351.
351 is yours,
351.
yeah. The coral. So, yes, it's kind of a combo.
So, and it just was so soothing. All I wanted was to be at the beach and put my feet in the sand, and so that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, guys, again,
really
stitch
good.
the beach. Stitch where we want to be. So, yeah. I don't have any finishes over the last few weeks because I've been starting like crazy. So, we can go to...
You have your Mother's Day finishes.
I do have Mother's Day finishes though. I have, previous finishes. We'll do some previous finishes since I don't have any current finishes.
So since it's Mother's Day, we'll talk about
gifts I've given for Mother's Day. Makes sense. So, well, one's Christmas too, but to my mother, so it's appropriate. On my first trip to Keepsakes, they have up in the floss room, they actually have like a freebie bin. So it's just like usually older patterns. I think she said like things that were left at like Stitch Away on the freebie table, that kind of thing. So I went through one of those bins on my first trip, and I found this pattern, Ribboned Roses. And not necessarily for me, but I knew my mom loved roses. So this just screamed mom. She loves that kind of country rose kind of look. So it just screamed mom. So I picked it up and then I started stitching it and I finished it. And then I had Keepsakes finish it into a pillow. And this was the final product. And then I think this was a Christmas gift.
That was Christmas.
Yeah, so yeah, MER 18. Yep. So yeah, we got your roses on the back of it. Found a fabric that matched. So yeah, finish one for mom. And then another one. So we went to London back in 2016. We took a family trip to London. And mom's obsessed with Shakespeare, one of the many men in her life that she's obsessed with. And we actually went to Shakespeare's birthplace for a couple days. Was it a couple days? Yeah, at Stratford. Yeah, so we were there and we actually visited his birthplace and walked around. You were having like an out-of-body experience.
Well, you go in there. I mean, you're walking in there and the tour guide tells you as you walk in, so you're walking on this stone floor that William Shakespeare himself actually walked on
Mom, like,
400 years ago. I mean, and yes, it was a little emotional for me.
So, of course, they have like a gift shop next door. And I had already been cross-stitching for a couple years at this point, but they had this there, which is one of the historical cross-stitch, and it was of Shakespeare's birthplace. And this is even like the photo posted. And so
we had actually, so this was back in 2016. So,
yeah,
you were cross-stitching some, but I actually bought it for myself.
Yeah, you thought you might have.
I was like, someday, I'm going to figure out how to cross-stitch again, and I'm going to do this. And I bought it. And we got so busy coming back, I didn't realize that the pattern kind of disappeared from my stash.
Because it was right when summer started, and then I went back to UGA later in that summer to do RA. I was a resident assistant. I did that over the summer, half the summer. And in the midst of all that craziness, I kind of slipped it out.
It just disappeared from the house, but I didn't. And however, what appeared after that was
this.
On my...
So I finished it. This was the first time I did any blending, any French knots. That was a whole fun thing. And then Dad and I actually we snuck away, I think at Thanksgiving, we snuck away and got it framed at Michael's. We went to Michael's and had it framed, and it was just perfect. Oval, double matte.
So you were all alone on the French knots on this one.
Yeah, YouTube was great. It's funny, I actually looked it up, how to do a French knot on YouTube, and a FlossTube video I don't think came up. So it's kind of funny. I could have, or maybe I was watching a FlossTube video and just didn't recognize what I was watching. But
there's a lot
so many. It's all the flowers kind of in the front. It's hard to do this without seeing you to see. But what's fun, I didn't know. So there's a fence in the front, and it calls for back stitching, but I don't think I had done anything at that point with back stitching either. And it said 1 strand of black thread. So I didn't think that should be 1 strand of 310. So I actually, when I was home for a weekend, I stole another thing. I went into Mom's sewing cabinet and stole a black spool of thread, sewing thread. And that's what I used for the back stitch. So you can kind of see. So it was a fun learning. It was a kit. It was a total kit. So all the thread came with it and everything, but except for the back stitching, which is interesting. So
that's very cool.
So I had fun with that. And then this Mother's Day.
Oh. So cool.
I know to reach for it. So this Mother's Day, I decided, well, okay, a little bit of backstory. I showed this one in my previous videos, but this is my summer that I finished last year. And when I showed my mom this pattern, or showed mom this finish, she was like, oh, it says mom. Like, that was the first thing she saw when I showed her this finish. You just saw the mom in the middle. I was like, Mother's Day gift. So like, immediately like, okay, future Mother's Day gift. So then what I did is I took it and I created this. So I took the pattern, I kept my blue, but then I took 350, 351, 352 in DMC and just like showed them, like just grazed them across like all of the variegated floss and found this one, which I think is Sunrise, I think by Color and Cotton, but I forgot to look at that. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, but I could be wrong about that. If it's different, I'll post it in the description box below. But yeah, and then added the grapes because we both love wine. And then I kept my anchor because we both love the beach and kept the waves and everything. And then I had, the cording is 3811 and 351, I believe, corded together for a round.
Everybody should have a signature DMC.
Yeah, right. I know how many people have their favorite color of DMC. And then the fabric is this backing fabric, which had my blue and her roses. So, mom in a cross stitch. so yes. So yes, that was Mother's Day for this year. So.
That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
So now I guess we can do some whips.
Some whips?
Some whips in progress. Yes.
Okay.
Why don't you go first with yours? What are you working on?
So whips. So first of all,
the bag.
The bag.
Mom's bag. I got her this. I think this was your Mother's Day gift last year.
This was Mother's Day gift.
Yes, this was Mother's Day last year.
And it's tea and roses. I mean, it's
Mom in a bag.
You said that this is, Mom, if they made a fabric that was you, this would be the fabric. Like, this is you in a fabric. So
it is.
Jan
did it. Yeah, Jan at Keepsakes.
So you know what, Megan? One finish that I had this at Stitch Away this year too. Mm-hmm. So this is from this is something that I was working on back in college. So this is something I've revived, renaissance of an old project. Yeah. Is there a term for like old whips, like ancient whips that?
I think, well, I don't know about ancient. There's ones that you've kind of given up on. Those are UFOs, unfinished objects. But you revived it. So it's like you brought a UFO back as a whip.
revived unfinished project.
Yes.
So Dale Burdett, her patterns were just all that back in the 80s and the early 90s. And this was her pattern, the Elegant Country Rose.
Well, it has a lot of patterns. You can kind of see it's like a book of...
Yeah, and it's really neat because you've got these patterns and then she has them charted out in 10 multiple different color variations. So you can, great gifts, you know, you can make, find out what someone's home decor colors are, and then you can, you know, make the roses around that.
But Mom was doing
so the one that I was working on, and this is how far I got. It's actually a dozen roses in a vase. And this is as far as I got. Fortunately, I did the back stitching as I went because I don't know what I would do if I had to go back and do all this back stitching. But I've got just a few more roses and buds.
Just a few.
So it's the bottom half actually is almost done. I've gotten a few leaves away from finishing the bottom half of the design, and then it's just kind of coming in and doing the top half. But the problem, Megan, is that.
This is 18 count Ada, right?
It's 18 count Ada. So I have new Ott light, you know, with big magnifier on it that's helping. But the problem is that the pattern is like disintegrating with age. Like, I've got to hurry up and do this or this pattern will cease to exist.
Because working copies weren't really a thing, right? You didn't really, I mean, I don't know. You
didn't make working I mean, I probably could have, you know, Xeroxed it back then. But yeah, you can see it's just tattered and falling apart. So I have got to.
You highlighted it right in the color though. You had a pink highlighter and a green highlighter. You're like you're coloring in your pattern.
So my goal is to have this finished by the end of Stitch Away 2021. So by January of 2021.
Because you were working on it this year.
I did. I took it. I revived it at Stitch Away 2020. And so I'm going to go in, 2021. And my goal is to ring the bell and have this completed by then and do some work on it between now and then.
Very cool.
So that's one whip that I have right now. And so the second one is
masking tape disintegrated.
Oh, and even the masking tape.
The masking tape is completely disintegrated on it.
But
you're not old. You're gorgeous.
That's gonna be a big thing to get that one done. We're gonna ring the bell on this. So, the second thing that I'm working on, Meg, is this was a Stitch Away start in January. Again, I've just restarting cross stitching again. So, in addition to William Shakespeare, my other all-time favorite person is Thomas Jefferson. Absolutely love Thomas and Monticello. And so when we were at Monticello last April, I got another kit package.
Thomas Jefferson's Monticello.
And it's the Monticello. I've got
Shakespeare, Mr. Darcy, Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah. So this was all kitted, and so I'm just following it, by the chart.
Yep, that's her. It's a good start on it.
So yeah, it's good.
Good start on it, for sure. And that's like the center of the pattern, center of his house. So.
And then just to bags show up. I just got this. I was so excited. I just got in the mail from So Much to Love. This books bag. Just absolutely love it. And one of my favorite Thomas Jefferson quotes is, "I cannot live without books." So it was
has the
perfect.
You got this at Stitch Away, right?
The needle.
You got the books needle minder.
Needle minder. So it's a little common theme going. Everything goes together perfectly. And then, my third and last whip is. I am so excited. I'm so excited about this.
Obsessed with this
I've been telling you all about this. Okay, so it is, you got me excited about Carolyn Manning's designs. Yes. And Carolyn Manning's, the Walk in the Garden series. Well, I went in to look at her website and immediately found a daily walk in the woods.
So instead of like the flowers, it's trees.
So it's just trees. And you can, it's like a perfect Zen project. I mean, you can pick it up, you can stitch a tree, you can stitch part of a tree. There's little birds, there are little flowers in here. You just, no rules at all. You just pick it up. It's the first time that I've ever had a cross stitch pattern that I needed the 3-ring binder for, because there's like 12 pages of, but what I love, it's huge pattern. Color coded, and easy to follow. Even as it crosses over from page to page, you've got the margins that show them. So I decided I'm not even going to follow the chart. So I went into my 40-year-old stash and I found every green and brown. I pulled out everything. I just pulled the greens and the browns out.
She's doing her own conversion.
And I'm gonna use whatever colors. Green feels right, and I'm gonna do big trees, little trees, however. But here's how far I've gotten with this so far.
And what is this 14 count Ada?
This is 14 count Ada.
But you got it in a yellow? Is it like a cream color?
It's like a ivory. It's an ivory.
Nice.
And I've got, that big tree, and I just kind of like today, what tree do I want to work on? And you know what else? It makes me look at trees differently.
Really?
Really, when I'm out and around looking, I'm like, how would I cross stitch that tree?
What color is that?
What color is that tree? So for a wonderful, relaxing, just sit and enjoy the trees. The only thing about this, Megan and I have debated this back and forth. I kind of at first wished that I had used a blue fabric. Because when you look at trees, there's sky behind them. There's always sky. And the more I talked to Maggie, like, do I start all over again with, if anybody's done this in blue, I would love to see what it would look like on a different background. But I keep doing it.
Doing more.
So it's going to stay like it is. It's going to be huge when it's done.
Because you kind of, with the ivory, it can also be like the sun is shining behind them, because there's sun too. So, I think it looks good.
So that's my third.
With the birds. The birds are so cute. I love birds.
I only have 3 whips, right now because
only 3. I haven't cross stitched in forever. Only 3.
3 cross stitch whips because I've got like somewhere between 40 and 50 quilt whips. So I have to kind of angle my, kind of balance my quilt whips and my cross stitch whips together. And stay balanced.
So going with the Mother's Day theme, she brought her current active quilt whip. Right?
Oh, yes.
So,
yes. So
this one's really sweet.
So this is
and I'll
a project
stand up and show
a project I started. So I wanted to make a quilt to honor my mother and to honor my mother's memory. And I found these photos. She passed away in 2004. Yeah. In 2004. I found these photos of her. My mother's nickname was Pansy. She, when she was a little girl, she always went by the nickname Pansy. And I found this pansy fabric in her quilt stash when she passed away. And I decided to make a quilt with photos of her that would kind of honor her. And so I've got,
let me just get behind the chair.
So I've got 12 photos and throughout her life. And I used an Irish chain pattern, and then just kind of the pictures of.
So you have the top done,
pictures
right?
of her. The top is done. I still need to add the borders to it and the backing.
Yeah. So let me just get try and get a full view of it as much as possible. And then we can zoom in on something.
And I did, the photos were done by photo transfer onto the fabric and then, sewn into the quilt. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's one of my, it's that's about to be a quilt finish, but that's been a big project.
That's awesome.
And then
I would not call myself a quilter, but before I was senior year, I was kind of like just doodling and kind of came up with this design, this UGA themed design. And then I took it to Mom. I was like, do you think we can make a quilt out of this? And so she was like, I think so. We'll see. So I just colored and doodled and created this pattern. And then Mom did all the quilt math for it. And then the summer before, did you do that the whole summer?
Quilt math meaning how to make this a quilt that we can sew strips together instead of cutting out a bunch of squares and sewing them together. So we turned it into a strip-based quilt where we could sew strips and then cut them crosswise in order to speed up the process.
We did this the summer before I started, right? It was summer mostly.
It was summer before you started UGA because we were rushing to finish the binding right the weekend before you left to go there.
Yeah. And I'll insert a picture of us actually working on it. Might have been the night before. I'm not sure, but we were working on it together. But the finish, and you've seen this a little bit because I had it in my last video. It was in the corner, but it is this massive thing that kept me warm all the time. But 4 years of college, our UGA quilt. But then we worked on it together. And then the binding, the back was this red fleece, and then the binding is this black and white polka dot. So we got all the UGA here, the pattern that I essentially designed and Mom made into a reality. So, so that was a lot of fun when we did that. It was a good bonding thing before I left for college. So
it was, and
did not turn me into a quilter though. So
yeah, you didn't really get the quilting bug.
Did not
yet. Not yet. There's still lots of time.
She's trying. Yeah. I got her back into cross stitch. Now she's trying to get me back into quilting. So. But yeah, so I think that's. Oh, you want to show them how you're gonna finish the easy?
Oh yeah. So
we were thinking. This is a thought.
So I just picked this up at Joann one day. That was 70% off and on sale. And I think we're gonna put it on here and have Barbara finish it with the
rope around.
The rope with the nautical knot.
Kind of like my Key West that I showed a couple of videos ago. So yeah, sorry, I just saw that. Thought I'd done that. So now I guess we can go into my whips.
Your whips and mania.
Oh gosh, mania. Yeah. So My mania, I was doing like one start a week that I'd work on for the whole week and then was have like a new start that Friday. I was doing really well with it. The first week I had Beachcomber, and then, which was the last video, was at that first weekend. And then that Friday, I started Walk on a Beach by Erica Michaels. And I was really excited about it. I really love this pattern. And everything was going great until I realized that the pattern was wrong. It switched to the two browns. So the light brown was charted for the dark brown and vice versa. Didn't realize it until I had most of the brown in. So I just had that discovered and then had to take it all out, put it all back in. Rocio from Cocohamas, she and I had a Zoom call, and she was helping me figure out how to like fix things, because I had another mistake where I then had miscounted something else. So she was helping me kind of solve all of that, and it was we needed some time apart by the end of that week. But this was as far as I got. It's 40 count linen in the colorway Sand.
So did you pull it out and redo
I
it?
pulled out, so I had not done any of the block. I'd only done one of the blocks over on the beach, but I had finished the wavy parts, and then anywhere else there's brown, and like all of the starfish and stuff down there. I had done most of those, and then that's when I realized the chart, because I was comparing it to the cover page, and it didn't look like the cover page, and the blocks were opposite on the cover page than the charted, and I was like, something's not right. And I posted about it, and they were Linda, Stitchy Linda on Instagram, she was like, I now realize that too. She and I have talked a lot because we both had struggles with this pattern. It seems so simple, but there was so many struggles with it. And we were, and I really liked how the cover photo looked. So I went ahead and decided to just frog it and redo it. But I love this pattern. The only thing I have left on it is, are these blocks. I need to finish. These come down to like here, and they're just every other one. And then, the sections that are blank, so the behind the fish, take a walk, and then nothing. These sections, these are all filled in with white stitches that are the soles. So that's all fill in. So that'll be fun. But I do want to get back to this because it's just gorgeous, and I do really love it, and I need to get back to it. So worked on that for a week, and then that following Friday, I started, all thanks to Shiloh at X Stitch MD. I started Patchwork Quaker in the version Monet's Garden, which are all my blues. And I have never done a Quaker before. One just hasn't really spoken to me before. So but then she showed this one, and it was all my colors. I was like, okay, I'm ready to start a Quaker. Let's try. And so I started this and absolutely fell in love. I'm doing it on 40 count, Newcastle in Platinum. And this is as far as I got on it. So I completely got the two corners. So this is as wide as it's gonna be. Show the back. The back. Show your backside. Tell me to show my backside, Mom.
I'm just like, I can't tell the difference.
Thank you.
Read that in a good way.
So and it was so fun. I really loved this pattern. It's like mini finishes. I really like that because every time I finished one, it was like really nice. And I wanted to just get to the edge. So I got all the way here. So that's as wide, and it will be equal length down. So got quite a bit to go, but really enjoyed that. And then my mania wheels went kind of off the tracks because last Wednesday, I got my fabric in from Color and Cotton. I had ordered back in early April for Celtic Summer that I'm doing. And when I got the fabric, I had the fabric, I had the floss, I had the pattern. I was so excited. So I was like, screw it, I'm starting it. Like, I'm doing it. I'm giving this a shot. I'll come back to this later. I have to start this pattern. So I started it, and just for reference, this is the pattern, Celtic Summer. But I am doing pretty much a full conversion on it, where I am converting it to my wedding colors. So I'll be doing the teals, the navies, The gold will be changed to silver. And I'm gonna somehow change her basket. I think I'm gonna try and chart somehow like a bouquet of flowers. So it'll be like, look like my wedding bouquet. I don't know exactly what that's gonna look like yet, so that will go last because we've got a year at this point. These are the colors. So I've got, these are the 6 navy blue colors, the 6 teal, and then my accent colors are green and white, kind of white and silver. And then these are like the hair and the skin, but those, and then I got a very teeny tiny start, but I mostly, well, actually I had more done. I did like a section of the dress where you can see all 6 of the teal colors kind of next to each other. And I got that whole section with all the colors and I could not tell the difference between 2 of the blues. On like my ring, you can tell the difference, but when I actually stitched them, I could not tell the difference. So I had to frog out most of it because I had to change like most of the order. So this is where I'm at. The fabric is 28 count Lugana and Salt Rock by Color and Cotton. And that's as far as I got. That's like her arm and like the part of her dress. You can kind of see where I frogged out. But I love this, like it's a little more gray than I was expecting it to be, but I really like it. It kind of gives this like, I don't know, like beachy, sandy kind of look to it in a way. You know, it kind of looks like dust and sand, kind of, yeah. You know, kind of has that rocky look to it. But I love the colors on it. Well, then when I realized I had to frog it, I frogged it out and I was like, I still had time. It was kind of late at this point, but it's like, I really enjoyed the starting feeling. Like I really enjoyed starting the project. So I then had this project all kitted up. I'm like, you know, might as well go ahead and start another one tonight. You know, we're already starting stuff. So let me go ahead and start this one. So I started Let's Do Wine by Imaginating. I've loved this pattern ever since Pam from Just Keep Stitching was stitching it. She finished it last year and I always like drooled every time she was working on it. And this is where I got on this one. I'm using a fabric, it was from the Fabric of the Month from Fortnite Fabrics, and it didn't have a name tag. So I think this was one of the earlier ones. So I don't know like what the name was, but I'm in the neutrals club, so it was one of the neutrals. But I got the wine.
That's the important part.
I honestly just have that, you know? It happens to be at the center, so. But it's like, I really loved this. It's like this aging barrel Tuscan, I don't know, like this kind of like, I'm trying to get the right lighting on it, but.
It's just this antique.
Yeah, it's got this like antique parchment. Dad called it parchment. It's like parchment look to it.
Yeah.
The lighting's a little overcast. It's a little overcast here, but, well, so I got that far, but then everything from here is all back stitching, and I wasn't in the mood to back stitch at that point. It's probably like 11:30 p.m. at this point, but I wasn't tired and I was still enjoying starting things. So I then, this was, I think, Wednesday. So Friday was when I was going to be starting a new project, and I was like, you know, which would have been yesterday. I was like, you know, why not just go ahead and start it early? It's all kitted up. It's all ready to go. And so I decided to then start Hammock at Sunset by Stitch X Cross Stitch Designs. I had incorrectly said this was by Artisy in one of my previous videos, but it is Stitch X Cross Stitch. So love this. Full coverage. And so I was thinking, you know, I think it'd be fun to kind of do the diagonal look again. Try out the full coverage diagonals that people do. Mostly like I've seen, I don't know if she like started this, but the way I was exposed to it was with Jessie Marie Does Stuff, the way she does like block by block in a diagonal. And so I'm doing this on the 18 count Fiddler's Ada, and this is as far as I got. Parking, it's a lot of threads, but so I'm trying the parking, and I've worked on this since Wednesday night. But yeah, so that's as far as I've gotten. It's really fun. I really enjoy the parking. If you ever want to do full coverage, I'll teach you how. But it's really fun how to do it makes like pages like that look very overwhelming. It really brings it like, okay, I'm just looking at this 10 by 10 block, you know, what are the colors in just this 10 by 10, not the whole page. And it kind of makes it like a little bit easier to manage.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah, it'll be really pretty. It kind of matches my thing up there, but, and then I went to bed. So I finally went to bed that night. But I then woke up and I was enjoying hammock at sunset, and I was like, well, now I feel like I need to also get David's Starry Night Over the Roan started again. You know, I had started one full coverage, and technically I started his first, but I needed to restart. So I pulled it out, and this is by Artisty Starry Night Over the Roan. It's David's favorite painting, and he asked it in cross-stitch version. I started this on dark blue, or dark navy Aida, and it was not going well. And so I got another piece of the 18 count Fiddler's Aida. And this is as far as I've gotten on it. I haven't worked on this one as much as my hammock, but yeah, it's actually really fun to do. I'm really enjoying it. This is definitely something where no matter what else I'm working on, like I don't think I would solely work on this for like a week. I think I would have to sprinkle this in and just do like a 10 by 10 block, like just do like one a day or something. And then that way, cause I could see myself getting like burned out, cause it does get, as Rocio calls it, gets crowded in there, and these stitches do get crowded because I'm doing it 2/2 on the 18 count. So I love the coverage and I love it, but it does get, like, feel how thick that is. Like it gets like,
it's a lot of blue.
It's, it is a lot of blue. It's it's mostly blue. So, a little bit of yellow in there, but it's 48 colors, and I think like 40 of them are probably blue. So, but it's fun. So those are all my starts. I'm officially at 10 whips, which I guess as David puts it, I can no longer call myself a monogamous stitcher. He calls me a polygamous stitcher now. So I have 10. I officially have 10 whips, which I prefer to have closer to like 2 or 3. So I've got some work to do to kind of bring those down. Which is what I kind of called it on Mania. I kind of just went the 20 days. So now I think I'm gonna go back to one of these, and like I think I'm gonna go back to walk on the beach and do that, like kind of get that one done and work on that. So let's see here. I have lost my notes. Do you have notes? Oh, there's some here. Okay. Sorry, got distracted. So yeah, so that's kind of my plans. What are your plans? What are you gonna work on now that you have this huge finish? What are you gonna work on? Just the trees?
I think I'm gonna do most of my focus on the daily walk in the woods, and just keep bringing in more trees and flowers and birds. So that's gonna be my focus over the next few weeks.
Keep building your forest.
And keep building my forest and finish Monticello, because that's kind of a quick, easy finish.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then it's gonna be focus on the roses for the rest of 2020. Yes.
Yeah, there's a sale going on for And a Forest Grew, which is huge, but if you're looking for a slightly smaller version, this would be a good one to do too.
And I'm doing it on 14, Aida 14.
Yeah.
With that, I'm using Aida to get back into cross stitching again, and you know it's going to be huge on 14, but I decided it was more relaxing for me to be able to see it better and bigger.
Well, after putting all that work into it better be big. You know, I might as well make it
a very large throw pillow or something. So yes, but which means also for plans are. So let's talk about me and Aida for a minute. Megan is going to help me with another goal for 2020.
She wants to try something new.
So I have always, and I don't know how many people out there share this, but I've always been an Aida stitcher. I mean, I especially with the lull, you know, when I stopped stitching, and then now that I'm kind of getting started again. But I really want to expand and start stitching on linen.
Try something new. Yeah, I mean, as Stephanie likes to say too, you can stitch anything on anything as fast as anything. Like there's no rules. You can do whatever you want.
I have always had I've got a mental block about moving to even weave and moving to linen. So Megan is going to help me over that
hump.
So we have a goal.
Just add another.
So we're gonna add another whip, which is so Megan gave me.
You bought this pattern.
I bought the pattern because I love the Sue Hollis design. Pattern, Sue Hollis design.
Yeah.
Hello Autumn. You know, the truck with the sunflowers and everything. Megan kitted it up for me with this beautiful Laguna mushroom.
28 count mushroom Laguna from. Well, it's a swag, but yep. So I figured the 28 count, that way it's still 14, you know, but you get to try the jumping over one, and it's even weave, which is a little easier.
And you've got all the, I
got all the floss for you.
Yep, we are.
All the floss. I need to get you a ring for it.
We are. You did give me a ring.
It's on a ring.
It's on a ring.
There it is.
So Megan, she's going to push me over the start line on
Did I give
this.
you this needle minder?
And you
I was looking for this. Did you?
Did you intend to give it? It stuck to the ring, so I thought it was part of the part of the deal.
I mean, you can use it. Yeah,
maybe it wasn't. So, we'll see how that. So that's how that goes. Yeah,
that'll be fun. We'll do that soon. We've been trying to find. Actually, it might be something. Yeah, trying to find time to get into it. Find center starter with it, and because I feel like once you get that first stitch in, I feel like it's pretty. You can see where the rest of them go. It's getting that first one. So yeah, so that'll be a fun project and get her started with that. And then my plans, I think I told my plans. So now I guess.
So you've got a new haul too, don't you? With the
Yeah, so a lot of that I showed was haul, and now I have some more haul. One thing of haul was I went to Keepsakes to pick something up a week ago, and they had a finish for me, and then they had this, and I had dropped this off with Barbara a little while ago, and then it was ready, and all thanks to Jan, but she made another project bag for me. So I dropped this fabric off. It's these gorgeous leaves, and then on the inside there's this batik fabric. And she quilted the top of it. I dropped this off before you were making project bags, so
that's gorgeous.
But she did a
great job. Can't have too many project bags.
Gosh, no. And then this was her zipper pull. So just absolutely love it. It's quilted on the front and back, and just I love it so much. So this was a new project bag. This is what Quaker has been living in this past week. But I also received yesterday. Mom made another project bag, and she made a beach one. So we got the beach fabric, shells on the inside, and then footprints, because you were saying it was like, all we want to do is just walk on the beach right now.
Oh, I just want to put my feet in the sand so badly right now. So
and we finally can. Florida's opened up, so
it's got these little footprints.
Yeah, these footprints, so you can walk on there. And then the zipper pull is the dolphin, our favorite sea mammal. So yeah, so that was really fun. So a walk on a beach is going to live in here because that just seems appropriate. And then let's see, we made a trip to Keepsakes yesterday. We got into Keepsakes after they got here. And I kitted up a bunch of projects. I got fabric for a bunch of projects, a few projects. But so I'll just kind of quickly go through those since I bought them yesterday. But this is, I bought this pattern a while ago, but this is Twin Pink Primitives Christmas Lantern. And I got 32 count natural linen for it. So it's all needled up, but that with this lantern. So I love that. Barbara helped me with all of these, which was awesome. Miss Keepsakes. And then I got this pattern in the mail, and then I got the fabric for it yesterday. Was Madame Chantilly Christmas. which I'm dying to do. It's so pretty,
That's
right?
really neat.
And then I originally went in thinking maybe like a platinum or something neutral, and Barbara showed me this and was like, well, we gotta try that. This is 40 count Newcastle water green. So kind of like a mint? Teal green mint. Yeah, kind of this really pretty color that these colors I think will really, I don't have the colors pulled, but that will pop on it. So, and then Barbara had in, and so I bought and then also got fabric for, was the 4th of July tier tray. And for that, I'm using, again, 40 count natural linen for that one, just to kind of keep the kind of patriotic vintage look to it. I finally bought the spring pattern, so I can start converting that to my version of spring, as always. Which we were kind of trying to come up with some ideas, because spring, it doesn't mean as much to me as like summer does. So trying to find different motifs that mean more to me in spring. So we'll have to put our creative juices on. And then I actually won Cupcake Stitcher Melissa. She had a giveaway, and I won one of her giveaways. And I won the Get Your Tail to the Beach. Is she finished? Yeah, that's got a little bit of glare, but there it is. She finished this with all metallics, and it was gorgeous. So she sent that to me with a really sweet card, really nice card. And then also a skein of Color and Cotton in Bermuda, which is just gorgeous.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely gorgeous, which could be used as the tail, I might have to just use it. Going along with that theme, I don't remember why I was on there, but for some reason I decided to go to Shakespeare Peddler's website, Kitten Stitcher, and she had this on sale, and I had to get it. It's 32 count mint fabric. Oh, I gotta get the right lighting on it. It's a little bit brighter. Yeah. It's a little bit brighter than it's showing.
There,
that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, so it's gorgeous. It's like a fat 8. No idea what I'll put on it, but it's gorgeous. I love it. It's my color and fabric, so. And then I also got my fabric of the month from Fortnite Fabrics. I don't know how to pronounce it. Morel? And it's another like brown neutral. Nice catch. Thanks, Mom. So, this it's a little bit lighter than that. It's not as dark, but so yeah. Oh, and they were doing their 3,000 subscriber giveaway. I think it was 3,000. They had a live, and it was like a trivia. Whoever answered the question correctly first got whatever they were doing at that time. And I got one of the questions. It was actually a Sex and the City question.
Slam dunk.
Yeah. And I got this set of needles, which they just sent with my fabric, which was perfect. So, oh, and then the last thing was I was on Etsy, and I saw this pattern, and it was on sale, and I had to get it. It's this peacock feather. Which if you're interested, I can get. I'll put it in the description box below the link to the store that had this pattern, because I forgot to write it down. But yeah, a lot, a lot of haul. You mostly just got floss yesterday, right? Yeah,
I did.
Like for her projects. So.
And a new Q snap.
Oh, and a Q snap, yes,
because
of course.
the Q snap I got I needed a large Q snap for a daily walk in the woods, and I got one from somewhere else that is Michael's. Yes,
and it wasn't the right.
It's really.
It's an off-brand.
So I had to get an actual Q snap.
Yeah, some keepsake. So yes, I think that's all the official stuff, right?
Wow.
That was a lot. So now we get to do the fun giveaway part. So I reached 1,000 subscribers very quickly, and thank you all so much again. And to thank you all, Mom decided to offer another bag for you all. So Mom made another beach bag. This is the zipper pull. So this will be given away. Oh yeah, the inside is the shell fabric again. So we'll be doing, what did we say the question was?
In the comments.
In the comments, yeah. So the basic rules apply. The don't say giveaway in your comment. Be 18 so you can give me your address legally. I hear the rules all the time. I think those are the main two ones. Don't say giveaway, be 18, answer the question. Use the right word, which we'll go over. If I forgot anything, I'll put it in the description box below. It's been a while. So yeah, so we were saying...
And the question is...
Yes.
So tell Megan, in the comments, what is your favorite beach that you've been to or that you want to go to?
So the keyword will be beach.
We're going to be looking for the word beach in there.
And if you don't like the beach, tell us, and there's people that don't care for the beach at all. You can say I don't like the beach, but just have beach in the comment, and that's what I'll be searching for is beach. So yeah. So as we know, I am obsessed with the beach. So it seemed appropriate that there was a beach bag.
Footsteps in the sand.
Yeah.
Bag.
Footprints. Yeah. It just made sense. So yeah. So thank you so much, Mom, for donating that for us. And then quickly we've reached 2,000 subscribers. So as kind of a bonus second giveaway, Mom is going to make a UGA bag, as that's our other main thing. We got the beach and we got Georgia. And we got UGA. This is UGA.
And you're Georgia Stitcher.
I'm Georgia Stitcher, UGA, like all things Georgia. And I've seen in the comments there are quite a few UGA fans out there. So if you're interested in a UGA bag, that'll be kind of the bonus giveaway, the bonus bag. And so we're saying comment your favorite connection to Georgia, or if you have a connection, we'd love to hear it and hear your stories.
The most important thing is to have the word dog, as in Georgia Bulldog.
But special spelling.
You have to spell it right. D-A-W-G.
No, dogs is D-A-W-G.
So we're going to search for dog or dogs with an S.
So if you just say go dogs, we'll find it. So
and that'll be the bonus.
That'll be the bonus bag. So we're not quite sure yet if it's going to be like the one I have, or you might do like a 3. So it'll be a little bit of a surprise. But if you are, if you're interested, feel free to comment below with that. And I'll probably do another video like 2 weeks. It definitely won't be next weekend. So most likely that would be the first weekend of June. It's probably so I would say by the first weekend of June is when we'll pull a winner. And then we'll go from there. So yay, my first giveaway. So it's fun. Thank you so much, Mom, for making these. So beach and dog, D-A-W-G. I think that's it then. Yeah, because you guys go back to Marietta Memorial Day. Yep,
heading back to Marietta, and this has been great. Thank you.
It's been real fun. So obviously neither of us have ever had 2 people on a FlossTube before, so this is new. So this is fun.
Back in Marietta, so I've noticed a lot of I read Megan's comments on
the number 1 fan.
The comments on here, and I know there are a lot of people in the Georgia, Atlanta, Marietta area who have commented that they're looking for a stitch group or a group of stitchers to meet up with. Once we all are able to start getting back together again and getting social again, I would like to find a group of stitchers in Marietta. And you're only going to be, an hour and a half, 2 hours away.
Auburn's a little less than 2 hours.
But if you're in the Marietta, Georgia, Atlanta area, or if you travel through there frequently and you're interested in getting together for a cross stitch group, just leave a comment on this episode. And Megan and I will both reach out to you and see if we can, or if you know of a stitch group in the Marietta, Atlanta
if you already
area,
have one and you're looking for new people to join,
we'll try to connect, everybody together.
Yeah, have a stitching group.
That's something
because unfortunately, there's not an LNS in Atlanta or Marietta or Georgia, so have to find another way to kind of get stitchers together. Or if there's I've heard of other cities having Facebook groups. If there's a Facebook group that you're a part of for Atlanta stitchers, let us know. love to get more connected to other Atlanta stitchers. So
look forward to seeing some comments and seeing some feedback on that.
Definitely.
But it's been so much fun being here. Thank you so much, Megan.
Thanks so much for
great.
coming on. So yeah, this is our belated Mother's Day edition, and
one time guest appearance only. That's it.
We'll see if I get her back on another time. You're gonna have to show them progress on your forest. So
and on the linen, the even weave. Yes,
so we'll have an update on that soon. So, well, I think for now, we've said it all. So, so feel free to like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions about anything that we showed here today, feel free to reach out, comment. I'll try and put links and pictures and everything in the description box. I'll put my email down there too if you have any insight or any questions. And thank you guys so much for sticking with us if you've lasted this long. And it's my longest video officially. So thank you all so much for watching and for cheering us on, and really appreciate everything. So at this point, I want to say have a great Memorial Day weekend and enjoy the holiday as we, remember the reason for the holiday.
Yep.
And
stay safe and healthy.
Stay safe. Yeah, stay safe out there as things start to reopen. Enjoy hopefully you all have nice weather. And I think we'll sign off here. Thanks, guys.
Bye.